Okay, good.
And if
All
the line
right.
cuts out, we'll try and dial you back on one of two phones here.
Okay, good. All right.
So just keep listening in, and we'll do our little intros.
Welcome to the Star Eastern Hemispheres. We're on Lake Lucerne, or the Wiel-Wald-Städtersee, the lake of the four forested cantons, in the absolute heart of Switzerland. So before we come to our virtual eye coverage of racing, here's a little taste of this fantastic location. Well, welcome to Brunnen, right in the heart of Switzerland. We're on the beautiful Lake Lucerne. Behind us, the sailors are getting ready for the Star Eastern Hemispheres, a huge championship. There are over 50 boats competing here. We're going to be covering the whole thing through virtual eye in just a moment, and each day we're going to try and have a little play of the day, a tactical analysis, and get the skipper or crew in the following morning, and we'll review that tomorrow. But it's quite exciting. We've got some good sailors here. We've got plenty of world champions. We've got the recent world champion from the Worlds in Malcesine, Fritjof Kleen. He's sailing with a Swedish skipper. And behind us, chatting away, is Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi. These guys are ramped up to #1 on the Star Sailors League, and they're on good form from the Worlds. Interesting, just having a quick look here, the local organisers, Lorenzo and Philippe, have done an amazing job. They've had the local council put these docks in specifically for the championship, and that's taken a huge amount of work, and they've created a little race village behind us just on that green. And the green is a new invention, and it's dedicated to all the Swiss people who live abroad, and they've specially put the regatta base and the tents and marquees there. So we're in for an interesting championship. The plan is over 4 days. We have 2 races a day on day 1, 2 and 3, and then on the final day 4, just 1 race. But the winds look really tricky. I mean, just having a look, we're actually the day before the championship, and we've got some beautiful sunshine, but you can see the mountains rising right up off Lake Lucerne, and this L-shaped lake with possible sailing over in that direction, northerly, or over in that direction if there are good thermals. So an interesting day, and I'll tell you what, just while Diego, would you come and have a very quick word, just literally one quick word.
See you later.
And I just thought we'd interrupt Diego very rudely. Very nice to see you.
Good
Ciao,
to see
ciao.
you.
Nice to see you after the
Nice.
Worlds. Just a little build-up in the preamble to this championship, the Eastern Hemispheres. You're here, you're on fire with Diego and Sergio. How important is this to you, this championship?
It's always is a silver star event, so it's very important. It's 750 points, so it's important for that too. And it's still summertime, so we are enjoying sailing as usual. It's like a training step for us because now we are already focused for the finals in Nassau.
Yay.
So it's a good way to have one more week of training and sailing with a good fleet. And then we are already planning for the trainings from now to Nassau. So that's one step forward after the Worlds, and is a way to be together with the fleet and sailing and having fun, of course.
Okay, well, we'll be talking about Nassau during all the live races. That's where the SSL final takes place in December, 3rd to 6th of December, I believe, where the top 20 crews and some wild card invitees, some top sailors from other classes will be there. But for now, for this championship, for everyone watching, we wish you very good luck,
Thank you very
you
much.
and Sergio, and stay with us.
Thank you.
Well, there is the, excuse me, there's the view of Lake Lucerne. We're looking over to one direction towards the start line. We can't quite see from our hotel the boats. They're in the distance there. In fact, actually, they're the other way, aren't they, Chris? You've moved the camera, sorry. So let's have a quick look at those Star Sailors League rankings as we go into this. There was Diego Negri. He is top of the rankings with his fantastic performance at the World Championships in Malcesine. And then Augie Diaz, Xavier Rohart, Diaz and Rohart not here. Robert Staniak, Robert isn't here either. Johannes Polgar, then George Szabo. George is here, a past world champ. Robert Scheidt, now in the laser class. John McCausland, and then Mateusz Kuzniewicz from Poland and Mark Mendelblatt. So we have a few. We've got Diego Negri and George Szabo. They're both here competing, and we're going to use Virtual Eye and get us out towards the race course. We've got a few minutes, about 1.5 minutes to go before the start. And out on the water, we have Christian Scherer, who is our on-water commentator, and hopefully we can get hold of Christian. Christian, can you hear us out there?
I can hear you guys. It's just about 1 minute 15 to the start here, and all the boats are lining up on the start line. We have just another rain squall coming in. It's blowing about 15 knots, and the gusts up to 20. And this is now 1 minute to start. We have all the boats slowly lining up here. And when you look up to the windward mark, it doesn't actually look very nice. There's a big rainsquall coming in, and the breeze probably will increase. We have the Greek lining up here, down here at the pin end. The Brazilians as well. Everybody's getting closer. It's 35 seconds to start now. Pretty crowded here at the pin end, actually. Less boats up on the starting boat. Looks like the boats like the left-hand side. So, very crowded here at the pin. Lots of boats here lining up. 15 seconds to start. Probably somebody going to be over early here. The Swedish nicely lined up, and we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they start. This is a lot of boats being over here right now. We'll see what the race committee says. I can't see the boat right now. Bit of a messy start line here. the first going out, we have the Swedes, the Americans, Brazilians having an okay start here going to the left. The Greeks have tacked once and go again, and looks like the race committee gave a clear start here. All the boats heading to the left-hand side. A couple of boats tacked out to the right. Munson, as it looks like, Negri. Everybody else still on starboard deck. And,
Christian, sorry to cut across you. I just want to explain to anyone watching this online that we're waiting for our virtual system to catch up. So at the moment, Christian, our viewers at home and at work are not seeing the real-time positions from Virtual Eye. So it's all on you, Christian. You are our eyes and ears out on the course. And looking out of the window here from the hotel, it looks very overcast, but how much wind do these guys have?
Well, we got about 15 knots now blowing here, in the gusts up to 20, and as you say, it's very overcast, it's raining, and there's squalls coming through with more rain, and the direction seems to be quite stable. Got a breeze just actually parallel with the lake, 230 with direction, and about 15 knots.
Thanks, Christian. And just to, if you just tuned in, to re-explain, we're waiting for our Virtual Eye system with all the GPS tracking to catch up. A slight glitch in the electronics at the moment. That's the way it is. As soon as that is ironed out, we'll come with you with the real-time positions of the boats hammering up. We've got 3 days of racing in total, and that's the view from our commentary position. We're on Lake Lucerne, and it's an L-shaped lake, and one part of the course goes south. We're looking southerly there across the Untitled, but all the boats are racing on the western side of the lake, on the Szabo side, and that's where Christian Scherer is out on the water. Christian, a world match racing champ in the past, and a crewman on Alingi in New Zealand, America's Cup winning crewman. And Christian, you at the moment, it's all on you, mate. We can't see anything from here at the moment, so we'll catch up with Virtual Eye. But Christian, just talk us through it, and who seems to be doing well, and which side is everybody going?
Well, I'm just trying to reposition you to be in a better spot, a bit more forward off the fleet. And the whole fleet is now heading up towards the windward mark. And boats that attacked early out, like the Italians, seem to look actually pretty good. I'm here all the way on the left-hand side of the race course, which is determined by... actually, as the lake is quite narrow by the shore sides, I'm here with an Austrian team, boat number 23, that is all the way on the left-hand side. At the moment, as far as I can see, Diego Negri looks pretty good. He tacks off in the middle of the lake and heads up the middle of the lake towards the right-hand shore. And in the middle, it's kind of hard to see with the rain coming through here at the moment. We still got about 15 knots in the gusts, 18, maybe 20, as the fleet goes up that first speed.
So pretty windy, Christian. Some good wind out there for the first race of the Star Eastern Hemispheres. This championship is on a level with the European Championships. We had the World Championships earlier this year in Italy, in Malcesine, and Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi, the Italians, Sergio, who lives on Lake Garda, they came second in a very dramatic final race of the Worlds. So Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi now in the middle of the pack, firing their way up the middle of the course, and they're hoping to do extremely well here in Lake Lucerne in Switzerland. We also have some of the other top runners and riders. George Szabo from the USA. George, a past world champ. He is sailing with Serge Pulfer from France, and Serge is the Xavier Rohart's normal crew, but Xavier is out in Rio at the Olympic test event out there, and he's doing some coaching for the French team. We have the reigning European champion here, Hubert Merkelbach, sailing with Gerrit Bartel. These guys won the European champs earlier this year in Lake Balaton, and they would be a good bet, I would say, Hubert and Gerrit. Hubert is a doctor and a very bright man, a very smart guy. We saw him in action on Lake Garda, fixing somebody's back, and he's a real talent and very keen and very fit. And then, of course, Alessandro Pascalato sailing with Henry Burning. Alessandro from Brazil is in his early 70s, and this guy is extraordinary. He is so fit. He works so hard before the World Championships, getting fit and getting ready, and they did a great job at the Worlds. And also Emilios Papathanasiou and Antonis Chotras from Greece. They were Greek Olympic representatives in the Star, and they had an amazing performance at the Worlds earlier this year on Lake Garda, always nailing the pin-end starts. And in fact, Emilios is a bit of a pin-end hero, and that's his favourite start, and we'll expect to see him firing off the left-hand side of the course pretty much every time. And then we have the reigning world champ, Fritjof Kleen from Germany. He's now crewing for Tom Lofsted from Sweden. Fritjof won the Worlds with Robert Staniek in that dramatic final race where they were hammering down the final beat, and 3 boats overall were on tied points to win the Worlds. A real prestigious title there. You get a gold star on your sail, and Fritjof and Robert had never won it before, and they were duking it out with the Italians, and it was an amazing grand finale. Chris is pointing to out the window. Oh, here we are in the studio. Okay, well, this is us. We can't show you virtual, but we can wave to you at home. I'll just tell you who we've got here. On my left is Chris, who's doing all the vision mixing and all his Facebooking in the corner there. Over there is Bridie from Virtual Eye and Ben from Virtual Eye. They're trying to fix our Virtual Eye problems at the moment, I think, with Paul Sharp down in New Zealand, crunching numbers. Bit of a gremlin, but that's the way it goes. And on my right is Francois Chéron, the SSL Chief Technology Officer, and we're hoping to get Francois. I'm trying to persuade him to get on the microphone. It's right here, Francois. You can pick that up a little bit later. Go on, you've got the courage. And he's going to come and join us a little bit. So that's where we are. We're in a beautiful hotel, actually, the Waldstätterhof, right on the coast. Right on the shore of Lake Lucerne, and that is our view out of the window. It's not the actual view to the racetrack. They can race down there on the L-shaped lake, but in fact they're racing across to the right as we look at that picture. And I was just going through some of the top runners and riders. I don't know who my money's on. I would say Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi from such a strong performance at the World Championships. But then I think Hubert Merkelbach and Gerrit Bartel are in there. And also Jean-Pascal Chatanet and Patrick Ducomont, the top Swiss team. They are here, and these guys, a lot of people here think that these guys have a local advantage, and a lot of fans, Swiss fans, are waving the flag, supporting JP and Patrick. But out on the water, until we get our virtual eye, our eyes and ears out there on the race course is Christian Scherer, one of Switzerland's most well-known sailors, America's Cup winner, past world match racing champ, full-time crew, a real talent. He ran the St. Moritz World Match Race Tour event for about 10 years, a quality event. And Christian is a full-time sailor. And Christian, what can you tell us from the water?
Well, out here on the water, actually, we have another rain squall just coming in, and we have, as I can see now from where I am, the Swedish boat in the lead. We have the Brazilians nicely positioned as well, and the Greek team here. Actually, the whole group that's been kind of in the middle left came out pretty strong, where the Swedes are actually leading that the right-hand side looks actually quite strong now. It's the boats from the left coming back strongly. In the front of that group, we have the Swedish team that looks to be ahead at the moment. In the middle of the course, the Brazilians, and to the right, the Greeks. They actually go a little lighter right now as this rain squall is slowly coming through, and actually with the wind getting weaker at the end of it.
Very much for that. We'll obviously know as they get towards the top mark, we'll get a clearer picture of who's in the lead in race one of the Eastern Hemispheres. But meanwhile, Christian, we're just going to play a little interview. We spoke to the two organisers of this event, Lorenz Zimmermann and Philipp Rottemund. And these guys have put a lot of effort into hosting this championship in beautiful Brunnen in the heart of Switzerland. And Lorenz doesn't speak English, so we did a bit of English-German translation via Philippe, and this is what they had to say. We're with the two key organisers here of this fantastic event in Brunnen, Philippe and Lorenz. Philippe, a lot of work went into this. What does it mean to host this event in Brunnen?
First of all, a lot of work, as you said. You have to imagine, like a week ago, there was nothing. There wasn't a harbour, there wasn't a tent, there was no food, no race office, no nothing, because we don't have a club available who has a decent infrastructure. So we really had to build everything on our own, meaning pre-organization already since probably 1.5 years already, and then later on really making it happening, and not just the administrative part, really building it. We've been, the whole team from the Starfleet Louvre really has been here for 4 days, and we've been building the tents and everything with our own hands. So I think the fleet and everyone who helped did just an amazing job, and being so impressive behind this crazy project, I can say.
Well, crazy project. I wonder if you would do some translating into English and German
Sure.
into English with Lorenz. Just ask Lorenz, why Brunnen? What was the whole idea of bringing this to Brunnen?
Ja, Brunnen ist seit 60 Jahren unser Heimathafen der Starflotte Louvre. Hier wurde auch unsere Flotte gegründet, und wir sind auch hier, weil der Urnersee, das ist eines der besten Thermikreviere in der Schweiz, und das ist unser Standort, und es war klar, wenn wir was machen wie eine Eastern Hemisphere, dann muss sie hier sein, im Zentrum sein, an unserem See sein.
Okay, I got the best thermic wind in Switzerland.
Right.
Ja, probably.
Yeah, basically, I mean, the thing is, the fleet has been founded here. Even it's called Luzerne Fleet, but it's hosted here in Brunnen and on the lake, and that was the reason, because it is one of the best thermal venues in Switzerland, besides 2 or 3 others, but it's one of the best to go, and it was for us pretty clear. In particular, because we have our anniversary, 60 years anniversary this year, to have it then at the roots, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Lorenz, ask Lorenz. With the city here, with you don't have a club, and we're on this beautiful lawn, and you've created everything really with your own hands, as you've said, and you've put some docks in as well. You've had a lot of work to do. What has been the hardest thing for Lorenz organising this event?
Ja, die größte Schwierigkeit war eigentlich die Verhandlungen mit den Behörden, dass wir den Event machen können, dass wir diese Infrastruktur oder diese Wiese nutzen können. Das war der größte Kampf am Ganzen, bis wir den Termin fanden, wann findet es statt. Die wollten uns nicht in der Saison im Sommer, wir wollen im Sommer segeln. Und schlussendlich haben dann die Hoteliers der großen Hotels sind dann eingeschritten und haben der Gemeinde gesagt, so, das findet im August statt in der Saison. Und das hat die Türen geöffnet, dass wir überhaupt hier segeln können.
Yeah, basically what he said is that really the toughest part of making this event happening was the negotiations with the official authorities, with the city and so forth, because in the first place they didn't want to have the event like during the summer season, because they thought it wouldn't be as practical, let's say it like this. And then finally we got lucky because like the two major hotels here, Hotel Waldstätterhof and Hotel City, they interfered and said, no, we want to have it in a season because it's going to be good for us, and they've been like a key partners for us in having it really in August, when usually is the best time for sailing.
Okay. And last couple of questions. You've got some sponsors here, Suzuki. We're outside the tent. Did you bring them in?
I mean, it's basically Lawrence who was in charge of all the sponsorship, and he knew basically all the sponsors, only Suzuki, Avia, the people who helped us building the harbor and so forth. So maybe Lawrence can say a little bit more about the sponsors, who and why, also warum die da mit dabei sind und wie sie gekommen sind und wen wir alles haben.
Ja, also wir haben sicher mal die Sponsoren oder die Gönner, die uns für die Infrastruktur zum Bauen des Hafens mit 60 Booten zu Spezialkonditionen halfen. Der Hafen, das Material, das war 100 Tonnen, das wir da hinschleppen mussten, teils über das Wasser von Luzern, teils über das Land mit Tieflader. Und da hatten wir Spezialkonditionen und das war uns ein großer Dienst. Die anderen Sponsoren, wie Philipp erwähnt hat, Suzuki oder Avia, die kommen eigentlich fast alle aus unserem Bekanntenkreis, unserer Flotte. Teils waren das Flottengründer dabei, die sagen, wenn ihr was macht, dann sind wir auch dabei in Franken.
Yeah, basically, like we had two groups of sponsors. One really who helped us building the harbor. As Lawrence said, we had about 100 tons of material, really 100 tons of material, which has been brought here over the water and over the land to different ways. And these are professional companies who know how to build harbors and so forth, but they helped us with special conditions so that we could, let's say, buy the stuff at a reasonable price. And then the other sponsors like Suzuki and Avia, these are friends of the fleet, or even some of them are founding members. So, and they said, if you're going to do something, obviously we're going to support you.
Okay. Well, nice job. And just one last question, just for you, Philippe and Lorenz. How proud are you to make this happen?
I think, should I say? Let's say, I mean, just for myself, I can say we are proud. But this championship should start tomorrow. We had 2 races yesterday for the pre-regatta. I think once it's over and 2 weeks has been passed, I think then we kind of more realize what really has happened here. I think that's really the point for myself.
And Lorenz?
Ja, für mich ist, ich hoffe, dass wir die Meisterschaft zustande bringen, dass wir mindestens 4 Läufe segeln können, dass wir gute Läufe haben und dass der Beste gewinnt.
He said for him the main thing is that we have at least 4 decent races, fair races, and that the best will win.
Perfect. Thank you. And thanks very much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Vielen Dank. Cheers. Well, great stuff from Philippe and Lorenz there. And, I have to commiserate slightly because yesterday was blown off because of the foehn, the thermal wind that was charging down the lake. And we've moved our camera towards the race course, which is just on the horizon to the right-hand side. And you can see it's pouring with rain. Out on the race course, Christian Scherer is getting an absolute soaking, as are all the competitors. And Christian's competitor list is completely drowned, I believe. But Christian, the boat should be near or rounding the top mark. Over to you, Christian.
Yeah, actually half of the fleet is now rounded the top mark. Half of the fleet is down already on the downwind leg. We have bow number 30, which is Christoph Burger, and actually I think Renato Marazzi, who sailed with Flavio Marazzi for quite a while, leading the first this downwind leg, followed by the Brazilians. In second place, Diego Negri, Italy in third place. Fourth place, George Szabo from the US. Then the Greek team. Then the Swedes. And this is about the first group I could capture here.
Okay, well, the course is a straight windward leeward. They'll be doing 2 laps of the course, I believe, up, down, for a downwind finish. And they've lost a race already. They lost 2 races on day 1 of the Star Easterns. So I imagine that Beat, the race officer, is going to try and get 2 races in. But it looks, from our beauty cam, Christian, it looks fairly miserable.
Yeah, actually now it's clearing up a little bit. That rain wall has come through. The breeze has actually dropped, and it's clearing a little bit here at the top mark. As actually by now all the boats are on the downwind leg. In the lead we have Christoph Berger and Renato Marazzi, followed by Diego Negri. And it's probably blowing now only 8 knots, so the big strong wind has gone through, and it's only drizzling a little bit. So the strong rain is gone as the boats are slowly heading down to the leeward gate.
Thanks, Christian. Thank you very much. Well, just to let anybody watching at home or at work wondering where is our virtual eye, well, we've got a major glitch in the system at the moment, and apologies for that. Brent and Kylie hammering away at the numbers down in New Zealand to fix that. There was a problem with the GPS timing on some of the trackers, and so they're going through the software and the program trying to fix that as we speak down in New Zealand. So we are on that, and we do realize that it's some pretty sophisticated technology using trackers and satellites and all the rest of it. I don't understand any of it. I don't know how it works, but when it does work, it's absolutely wonderful, and it's very unusual to see virtual eye not working. But perhaps we're slightly doomed with yesterday getting called off and some terrible weather today. But at least they're racing. And as soon as we have virtual eye, we will come back. Now, before the race, we did actually catch up with quite a few of the competitors and had a good old chat. And we spoke to Christoph Berger and Renato Marazzi. And these guys are leading at the moment, leading race number 1. And Chris is saying, no, we don't have that one lined up. Good to go. 1 second, I'm going to talk to Chris next to me. Chris, who can we talk to? Who can we listen to? Okay, well, let's catch up with, we spoke to the reigning world champ, Fritjof Clean, and Fritjof won the Worlds on Lake Garda with Robert Staniak in that incredibly dramatic grand finale. So Fritjof was so pleased to win that, I can't tell you. He's known as Frida, his buddies call him Frida, and we're going to have a quick chat with him now, which we pre-recorded. So Fritjof, fresh from winning the World Championships on Lake Garda with Robert Staniak, you're here sailing with another sailor for this one. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sailing here with Tom Löfstedt, one of the finest star sailors from Sweden, and it's a nice opportunity for me to learn something more from an experienced guy, and it's just great to be here in Brunnen and enjoy the Lake Switzerland here.
And what was the aftermath? I mean, you had a fantastic regatta for the World Championships, and it was so close at the end. And on the podium, we could see it meant so much to you.
Yeah, of course, winning the Star Worlds, I mean, in the moment we won it, you don't realize how big it is. But I think after the Worlds, the next 10 days were incredible. All those big names in sailing world sent the congrats, and like Willi Kuhweide from Germany, who is one of the best sailors ever in Germany. He sent an email. I never received an email from him before, so that was quite big for me. And then, but I was just after the Worlds next days. We were straight into the foiling catamaran, the GC32 with the team Marazzi. So we had to focus 2 weeks quite a lot because it was new experience for me, really fast sailing, and I was a little bit afraid in the beginning.
That's from one extreme to the other, yeah, almost. Exactly, from one of the, quite a slow keel boat, old school, over 100 years, to one of the latest boats out there, foiling 32-foot catamaran. That's cool.
Yeah, it was impressive. I mean, we started on Tuesday morning, and before Monday we were all joking around, but then Tuesday morning, like 7 o'clock, we went down to the container to get changed, and then you get the helmets and those vests, and then I realized everybody was so focused. So I thought, oh yeah, that's serious business now. So I was close to pull out, but then we went out sailing, and I really enjoyed. And then you get used to it, and we had a good coach from Luna Rossa coming in, so it was pretty impressive.
Wow, awesome. And we had Ian Murray, who was the regatta director of the America's Cup in San Francisco, and until recently the boss of the Australian effort, until they've pulled out. And he was commentating in our studio on the stars, and you know, it was quite cool that you know, sailing can encompass such a broad spectrum. It can go from a super fast foiling boats doing over 40 knots to the star boats kind of doing 6-7 knots. It's all the same physics though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, all the same physics, but of course the sailing on those fast catamarans is totally different, yeah, because you have to take care, especially in Lake Garda when we trained there, with all those surfers, and then there was the Laser European Championship going on, Young European Championship or Youth European Championship, and that was pretty tough, because I mean, in the Star, if you want to break down, you just slow down, you just go upwind, and that's it. And in this cut, I mean, you need at least 200 meters to slow down. So.
Hey, listen, the Star Sailors League is making an impact into this class and sailing in general. And having won the Worlds, I understand that you're automatically invited to head to Nassau for the finals. Tell us, what does that mean to you, and what does the SSL mean to you?
I mean, last year we had the first time the opportunity to go to Nassau, and that was just incredible event. And the people in Bahamas are so nice and so happy. We had the opportunity to visit the minister, and that was a great experience. And sailing in Bahamas is just the best, I think. And of course, the SSL to organize all this, and also to have this impact in sailing and this media coverage, and to see how many people are following also the Star Worlds. Yeah, I mean, that was also something that people just called and said, yeah, we saw the last race, incredible, and stuff like this is perfect. And I think the SSL is doing a great job, and it is, for us, it's just incredible.
Watching that last race and commentating on it, did you watch it back, that final race? It was so exciting.
So far I had no time, but I would like to do it. But yeah, I will do it for sure. For us, the last race was, of course, quite tough, because I think we were quite far up in the beginning, then we dropped down and then came back. But I mean, we knew the points, but that it was that close, that's how it is.
Yeah, it was super close, and it was very exciting in the commentary booth, because at one moment during that final race of the Worlds, there were three boats tied on points on the overall standings. We were doing our maths as we were going along, so 3 boats exactly tied. So just 1 or 2 position changes would have did in fact make all the difference, and you just managed to overtake a couple of boats. Pretty cool stuff.
Yes, I mean, that shows how high the level in the Star is, right? That I mean, of course, Robert Scheid was missing, then probably the game would have been different. But yeah, that shows Diego and Malibu and Augie Diaz and Lars Grael. I mean, he had actually a fantastic week, but had 2 black flags, bad for him. That was our luck, I think, and yeah, it was great.
Okay, well, just finally, we're here at the Eastern Hemispheres, a kind of European level championship for the Stars. Everyone competing for a silver star. You, of course, now have you're in the Gold Star Brigade.
Champion in the European Spring Championship, actually.
Fantastic. So good luck here on Lake Lucerne. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, great to see Fridtjof Clean on such good form, and when he got onto the podium at the Worlds, it really meant a great deal to him. Now we're going to fire straight out onto the water to catch up with Christian Shearer. The boat should be rounding the bottom mark any minute now. Christian, talk us through it, would you?
Yes, actually the first 4 boats have just rounded the mark. And we're now it's just Diego Negri who rounds the mark in the 6th position, followed by Germany, a German boat. Can't see the bow number right now, but we had in leading the guys who did the best job on the downwind was George Szabo from the USA. He sneaked past Christoph Burger, who actually lost his lead. He's now in 4th position So at the Leeuwarden Mark, everybody going around the left-hand gate, looking up to windward. And we have George Szabo from the USA in the lead, Brazilian team in second place, the Greek team in third position. Christoph Burger and Renato Marazzi moved back to fourth, and the Swedish team in fifth position. And now they go up to beat this first group, mostly heading to the left. It has cleared, there's no more rain, and the wind has dropped down to about 8 to 10 knots. And now we have the big group of the fleet coming around and going around the gate.
And Christian, heading round after Tom Lofsted, was that Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi?
They are, let me have a look, they are they're rounded in sixth position. They lost also some places at the top mark. They were in third position, and they moved back to sixth. They actually rounded a little bit, just a little bit behind the top group. So they still have a chance now. Everybody's going up the left hand side of the course. Only a few boats going to the right.
Brilliant, Christian. Thank you very much. So, just to confirm, we had a request at #AskDigby, #AskDigby on Twitter. Somebody was wanting to know who was third to fifth. So, from what Christian has just said, I'll try and run through the top six. First round, the bottom mark, George Szabo with Serge Pulfer. Obviously a great downwind leg for George and Serge. And then the Brazilian boat, Alessandro Pascalato with Henry Burning, heading round second. And then the Greek sailors, Emilios Papathanasiou and Antonis Chotras up there in third position. Great result for them. And then Berger and Marazzi, the Swiss sailors, who led around down the beat, down the leg, and have been overtaken now in fourth place. And then the Swedish boat, we guess, is Tom Lofsted with Fritjof Kleen, who we just heard from in our interview. And then Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi in sixth. So that's kind of how the running order is looking at the moment. Just to remind people that you can ask us a question on Twitter at #AskDigby. We will do our very best at the moment because we're flying a little bit blind without virtual eye. There's a problem with the tracker timings, which is trying to be sorted out, but I understand it's quite a serious one to do with the tracker system. But we're doing our best on that. But let's just go quickly back out to Christian Scherer, our eyes and ears on the water. So we've got a top six rundown, but there are 49 boats out there, Christian.
Yeah, well, pretty much, we got about 4 boats left still having to round the Leeuwarden Mark. Now, this is happening. We got actually one boat who didn't kind of seem to start. The start was actually totally clear. There was no OCSs or anything. Pretty happy about getting it off actually like that. It looked to me that there was a bit of a bunch up on the pin end, but it was all clear after all. And now all the boats are up on going up to second speed to the top mark, 8 to 10 knots. A bit more pressure on the left-hand side where most of the boats are actually going now. The right-hand side is a bit covered by the land here, so even though it looked strong at the beginning in the first beat, in the rainfall that we had at the first beat, now it's definitely middle left that is paying well, and it stopped raining, so the view is a lot better now too.
Nice one, Christian. Well, I imagine that Beat, the race officer, is going to try and get 2 races in today. What are your thoughts on that?
Actually, at the moment, it looks okay. The wind direction is quite stable. I think it'll depend a lot what the short time weather is going to do here. We got this westerly wind that's actually lining up pretty nicely with that part of the lake, which is called the Szabo, because there's a town called Szabo a little bit further up on the right-hand side. And if it stays like this, there's a good chance for a second race, for sure.
Well, that would be absolutely great, and we'll give Beat and his race officering team a chance to catch up. Just to let people know, with our virtual eye situation, they're rebooting the whole system. They figured out what's going on, and it's going to take about 25 minutes or 30 minutes for us to have virtual eye back online. So we may not get virtual eye for race 1 of the Star Easterns, but it's looking promising for race 2 a little bit later. So apologies for that. These things happen, but I think what we'll do is carry on chatting. We've got Christian out on the water. He can give us the rundown, at least the top 6 going around the marks, and we'll get an idea of who's doing well out here. Now, before the regatta, we caught up with the past world champ, George Szabo. He won the Star Worlds in 2009 in Sweden, in Varberg. I was there, actually, filming that, which was a beautiful championship. And this is what George had to say about being here in the heart of Switzerland. So, George Szabo, from the States, you come from the World Championships. Here we are in Switzerland, and you're swapping crew. You had Eduardo Natucci for the Worlds, and now I think you're with Xavier Rojas' crew, Serge Pulfer.
Yeah, I had a chance to sail with an Italian dodo during the Worlds, and that was fantastic. And he spoke pretty good English, and I had a few Italian words that helped out, and this week it's going to be really exciting. Serge is a great guy, but he doesn't speak very much English, and so we sailed the boat entirely in French, and I speak some French, but when you sail another language, it's pretty entertaining. You have to put all the translations on the side of the deck, and I tried that yesterday in pencil, and they wiped off, so I had a few tough moments there, and today we're trying it on a piece of cloth written in pen, and hopefully that works a little better.
Well, I presume actually it will be quite hard, because I mean there's a lot of communication between crew and helm, upwind and down, looking around the course. How are you going to make it work?
Better today for sure. Yesterday to ease the jib was choke, and I got that confused with trim, which was borde, and sometimes that jib was sucked in against the mast, and I realized I was using the wrong word, so I think it's going to go better today.
Okay, well Serge is a sort of a cunning old fox, isn't he?
He's a pretty happy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the Eastern Hemispheres, the Stars have an unusual setup with their North Americans, South Americans, Eastern, Western Hemispheres, and then a Worlds and a Europeans. What would winning this mean to you, George?
It's just good national championship if you can win a good regatta. We have basically in the star class 2 silver stars, or basically 2 continental championships per year. One's the Easterns or the Western Hemisphere, and the other one's the Europeans or the North American Championship. So just good regatta win, some good guys here, and good fun.
Okay. Well, now, I mean, we're standing by the lake in the morning, and this is actually the day before the Eastern Hemispheres, and there's no wind, and it's cloudy, and the thermal breezes are not really going to be kicking in. I think it's going to be tricky weather-wise.
I agree. Lakes, you kind of forget how tough they can be, and yesterday we tried to start a little bit in the middle of the line, and the guys on one side of the line had one breeze, and the guys on the other side of the line had another breeze, and we were stuck in the middle, and we're like, oh yeah, this is the lake. Let's change our tactics around a little bit again. Okay. So yeah, it should be certainly interesting, and they're looking at a lot of rain this week, and if we get more rain and cloud cover, they're not expecting the thermal, and the thermal's supposed to be really nice, wind just going straight down the lake, and without that thermal, everybody's a little concerned on what could happen.
Okay, well, that is sailing, and that's the way it goes, and we get what we're given, really. Yeah. But we're in the middle of, this is the heart of Switzerland, and apparently the very early Swiss Confederacy was founded just behind your shoulder on that little sort of grassy knoll.
That's what I've been told.
In 1291, I Wikipedia'd it this morning. Okay. So it's quite an important place for Swiss. We're, the very heart of Switzerland here. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. And I'm just looking around. We won't see this on virtual eye too much, but just the scenery of the place, the mountains rising straight up from the lake to 3,000 meters or so. It's quite a dramatic spot as well to go sailing.
It was pretty neat on the sailing yesterday. You look at the rock formations, and they're compressed, but they're also bending, and so there's some really neat rock formations. And you're able to sail right up to the side of the lake, and actually the trees are sticking out, so you can hit a tree before you hit ground. And as we're sailing in next to shore, there was waterfalls, and it was pretty unique. Definitely different from home.
I'm just going to finish off, George, a little bit about the Star Sailors League, because we're, giving it a lot of love and a lot of virtual eye for these regattas. And I understand, some of the sailors, we pulled you in during the Worlds when you got a black flag, and it was really cool to get your insight during a race. It was rather nice. And I like the way you described how cool it was to sail these boats, the sheer motion and, on the helm of these, slab-sided things. And that was a great insight. But the Star Sailors League, we're going to be finishing off in Nassau in the Bahamas. And I'm guessing you're hoping to be there.
Absolutely. We're already making plans to go there. And Nassau is one of the best racetracks in the world. It's if you like skiing moguls, it's like sailing moguls. It's just these waves that form there on the 12-foot, deep water. Are just they become massive sometimes, but they're super soft, and you think you're going to go nuts or die on the run, but they're just soft, and it's just a fantastic place to sail. Plus, the people are so friendly there when you get there. It's great.
Well, it's a perfect time of year as well, December, for the European sailors anyway. It's a great time of year to get out into the sunshine. But the Star Sailors League, I mean, they had this kind of ranking for skippers and crew. I mean, do you take much notice? Are you looking at that? Are you trying to get up there into the top 10? And
it definitely help you have a good Worlds. It keeps your ranking up there for the next year, and definitely working on that a bit. But not checking it every day, but yeah. I'm definitely watching that.
Okay, so coming here to the Easterns, those points will help for your ranking as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. For any final thoughts here in Switzerland on this beautiful morning with no wind at all, this fantastic ferry boat going right behind us. It really is a marvelous sight. Final thoughts on the Easterns?
I think one thing you guys want to look at this week is just how much work the organizers have put into having a neat event here. It's not just the tent city they've created. They have no clubhouse here, no facilities, and they've brought in these docks, these work docks, to create a artificial harbor so we can park all the boats here, and spent a lot of time with the city trying to get this approved, and just done a phenomenal job organizing something where there was nothing, and it's amazing what they have so far.
Fantastic.
It's really neat to see.
Very nice. Well said. We'll talk to them, and that's very nice coming from you. Yeah. Thanks, George. Enjoy your week. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Well, that is the live view from our commentary position at the Hotel Waldstätter Hof. We are on Lake Lucerne, or the Waldstätter See, the lake of the four forested cantons, the original cantons right in the heart of Switzerland. Out on the water, the boats are approaching the top mark in race number 1 of the Star Easterns, and we have Christian Scherer. And Christian, I'm hoping the boats are up towards that top mark and that you can talk us through it. Over to you, Christian.
Yeah, the boats are approaching slowly the top mark. Actually, that second piece, team from Greece with Emilios Papathanassiou made the best stop, now leading up that lead. They actually got a nice little lead over the American boat with George Szabo, and it looks like to be Christoph Berger. The Brazilians have lost a little bit. They're a little bit further back. It's been quite shifty and a bit lighter now up that beat, and the Greeks probably got another 500-600 meters to the top mark. They're in the lead. Second, I would say, as it looks like right now, depending on the next shift that's going to be coming, is George Szabo, and then Christoph Berger actually back forward into third position as now approaching. They're on port tack, coming towards the starboard lane for their top mark. But there's probably a little bit more time as the breeze dropped quite a bit in the middle. Now the breeze came back in. We got again like 8 to 10 knots. It's pretty shifty out there with little holes in it, where a couple of the boats actually slowed down quite a bit.
Well done, Christian.
Nice left-hand shift now, which helps Greek boat actually approaching nicely that top mark, and I would say they will have about a 100-meter lead over George Szabo and Christoph Burger, who's in third position.
Okay, so Berger and Marazzi climbing up. They were leading and then down to fourth around the bottom mark, and now up to third. And it looks like Papathanasiou and Chotras have taken the lead over Szabo from the States. So, Christian, it's quite difficult for us, I must admit, without virtual eye. But thank you very much for your on-water commentary. How far from the top mark are these guys? So, Christian, out on the water with our telephone system. Are you reading us?
Yeah, now, actually now the top group of three.
He's not anymore. That was the unmistakable sound of the connection getting cut. So we'll dial back to Christian just as they go around the top mark. Okay, so we're back with Christian. Talk us through it, Christian.
Yeah, we're the top group of the three boats that have approached starboard ley line have tacked now. They're now on starboard, approaching the top mark, and it's Emilios Papathanasiou from Greece in the lead with bow number 5, just a couple of like 100 meters away from that top mark. They're approaching now, and their ley line, actually, the George Szabo, who's been controlling and checking on Christoph Burger, they're under the ley line. They will have to tack again, but it's the Greek boat approaching the top mark now. Nice lead for them, as the other two boats in the second and third will still have to tack. So just right now, we have Emilio Papathanasiou going around the top mark, easing the sails, going on the offset leg, and they got really a nice little lead. But still controlling Christoph Burger, who's in third position, is now tacking for the top mark. Christoph Burger follows, so George Szabo will be in second position. Greece has actually gone really light up here. So to repeat again, we have Papathanasiou from Greece in the lead. They're now going around the second top mark to go on the downwind. And George Szabo now just tacking around that top mark. So Greece in first position, USA in second, and third position right now at this top mark for Christoph Burger and Renato Marazzi in third position. There's a bit of a hole now for the next boats, and just checking on the breeze, but I can only read about 5 to 4 knots. It's gone really light up here, and yeah, we got actually only 4 knots, so it's gone really light. And on the downwind now, Greece, USA, and Switzerland with Christoph Burger and Marazzi. They're on the downwind and looking out who will be the next boat coming to this top mark. It mixed quite a bit. I can see Italian boat here, Diego Negri, is somewhere in that next group, but next is going to be looks like actually a Dutch boat with the bow number 48, which is Mark de Haas and Eric Veldhuizen. They did a pretty nice beat. They will be, as it looks like, fourth around this top mark. Breeze is dropping out actually quite dramatically here, and the boats are having a hard time getting around that top mark. So in fourth position, bow number 48, Mark de Haas from Holland. And then we have close together Diego Negri, who's actually got an inside. He will be fifth, Diego Negri, fifth, and followed really closely by bow number 22, which is Kurt Scheidecker and Markus Scheidecker from Switzerland, which are in the sixth position. Followed then by bow number 36, Boris Kulte from Switzerland. And the Brazilians have lost a lot in the sweep as well. I can't see them right now. Boris Kulte has to tack again to be able to make that top mark. He's double tacking now at the moment. And then there's a whole bunch of other boats coming closely right now. I'm looking out for the Swedish boat. Swedish boat just goes around the top mark now. Sweden and the Brazilians are still further back, and I can't get them right now where they are. So, and the breeze still being light with only like 4 to 5 knots, as now most of the boats are going towards the finish.
So, Christian, just confirm there are a couple of Swedish boats. Is it Tom Lofsted, bow number 6, sail number 8446?
Let me have a look. Yeah, it is that Swedish boat that is the first Swedish position boat, actually.
Okay, so that is Tom Lofstad with the reigning world champ Fritjof Clean crewing for Tom there. Tom, a very experienced hand, 16th at the Worlds. He was crewed by Jesper Sundman now, and third in last year's Europeans, and one of Sweden's most established star sailors. So a strong team. They're in contention and up in 7th or 8th at the moment. So to confirm to people watching us, not quite through Virtual Eye, but we will have Virtual Eye, fingers crossed, for the next race. But the top 6 around that top mark were the Greek team of Papathanasiou and Chotras, who are having a great first race. They're very fired up at this championship. Very, very competitive, Emilios Papathanasiou, the Greek Olympic representative. And then Szabo and Pulfer, the scratch team, got together just for this championship, and Szabo having a good first race. And then the Swiss heroes, Berger and Marazzi, and they've been sailing together for a few years, and the Marazzis normally sail together as brothers, but Berger and Marazzi sailing together for this regatta, up in third. And then the Dutch team of De Haas and Veldhuizen, I think it was. And then the Italians who came second at the Worlds, Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi. And then I think we had the Scheidegger father and son duo round in 6th. But obviously a terrible leg for the Brazilians. Alessandro Pascalato and Henry Burning, they were round the second gate, up in the top 3, but down out of the 7th, 8th position at the moment. So the boats are heading down towards the finish. We'll finish race 1 in 20 minutes or so, not too long. It's a 4-leg race, and the race officer's very, very keen to get 2 races in today. We are actually looking at a live camera just from our commentary position, which is at this beautiful hotel, the Waldstätter Hof, and you can see the overcast clouds. It was raining earlier. Over the past couple of days we've had some thunder and lightning, and yesterday everything was completely blown out due to the strong thermal Föhn wind, the local thermic wind screaming across the lake. So just before they get to the finish line, we're going to play another interview, and we chatted to quite a few of the sailors, and I think it would be nice to chat to the Swiss team, Berger and Marazzi and get to know them a little bit and see what they have to say about the sailing together and being here at the Easterns. So with Renato and Christoph from Switzerland, you're flying the flag. It's a beautiful place, and I'm guessing is the pressure on being local sailors, Swiss sailors?
For me, it doesn't really make any difference what regatta I sail. It's always same preparation. We try to take it as normal business, and we do our best in every race.
Tell me, how do you sail together, Christoph?
So I'm on the helm. Renato is crewing for me, and well, we try to. Well, that doesn't work like that. What do you mean? Like, how do you sail together?
So how is it? What is the strength of your teamwork? Talk about you've been sailing together for a few years. Just kind of what are the good points of your teamwork together?
Yeah, that's quite obvious. I mean, Renato has been sailing the Star for more than 15 years now, and he's a very experienced crew. And so my professional life is allowing me to sail much more, so I'm more experienced in the probably racing, but certainly I'm always counting on Renato when it goes back to, to trim and handle the boat up front, so that's really nice.
Your professional life, you've got a North Sails hat on. You're with North Sails.
Exactly, I'm working with North Sails in Switzerland, and we are running 2 offices in Switzerland. I'm involved in that, and we're providing the sailor with whatever they need.
Yeah. Sorry to. I'll come to you in a second, Renato. Also no with your North Sails.
Just because of him.
Fantastic, very good. Flying the flag, we like that. What do you do exactly for the sail loft?
I'm in sales, so commercials, so I'm on the road a lot, and I just close to the clients and provide them with a good service of North Sails.
Are you like most people who work for sail lofts? I mean, you're just a mad keen sailor who just kind of got sucked into, working for sailing.
Yeah, well, it all started really with my career as a sailor in the Finn class. I campaigned for 2 Olympic Games, and that just got me really into the business. My dad was a sailmaker as well, owning a sail loft, and that's how it all started. And now I'm fortunate enough just to keep the tradition, and I love what I do.
Renato, the Eastern Hemispheres, it's unusual for, like the Finn class or some of the other classes who race. They don't have this kind of structure. So you've got a World Championships in the Stars, you have a European Championships, and then you have these kind of Northern Americans, Eastern, Western Hemispheres. How important is this championship to you?
Well, it's one of the most important, actually. We have sailed 2 years ago the World Championship together. We not really have time to sail big championships, so we're really enjoying being here. It's so close in Switzerland as well, and yeah, it's one of our main regatta.
Okay. Yeah. We've got a heli going behind us, but never mind. I might just stop for that helicopter to go.
That's quite disturbing, isn't it?
Well, especially when you're pointing the fucking thing right at it. Kind of thermically quite complex.
Yeah, definitely it is. Yesterday we had great sailing. It was a wonderful day, 2 nice regattas. But today, as you can see, it's already a difficult day. And let's see what's going on in the future. But definitely we can have everything. The weather forecast is not the best, but we'll see.
So, and Christoph has the hot shot, the Swiss hot shot. Not that I'm putting too much pressure on you. Just give us some of the secrets of sailing on some of these Swiss lakes.
I guess there is no big secret. Sailing, racing remains a sail race, no matter where you sail. So our key is really to just take every race. This is a new first race, and we have our preparation on the water. We try to figure out where to go, and so it's nothing really particular about this lake. It's business as usual.
Business as usual. Final question: the Star Sailors League has made a big impact on the Stars themselves over the past year with their rankings and their grand finale in Nassau and the coverage that we're doing through Virtual Eye. I mean, you're quite objective. You're dealing with lots of different boats, lots of different classes, and are sailing the Star. What is your impression of how the SSL is getting on and its impact?
I think it's absolutely great. I think it's the effort of a few bunch of people putting in the star class really helps the whole world of sailing, and it is about to present our sport to the outside. And I believe what these guys are doing is just absolutely the right way, and it promotes the sports in sailing in all over the world, and it just shows what professionalism can be reached, and if it's even involved with some prize money, so it's really getting serious, and I think that's the only way to go.
And Renato, has it made a difference to you in your star sailing as a star specialist?
Yeah, it's really a great event. I had the possibility to take part last year with my brother Flavio, who was in the top 10 that time. And yeah, it was really absolutely great event, well organized, and that's the future of sailing, to make it more professional.
Okay, fabulous. Well, gentlemen, good luck with the Eastern Hemispheres, and we wish we'll fly the Swiss flag in our commentary booth, and we hope you have a great time. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thanks.
Well, that is the view, the live view from our commentary position. And I've got some good news that Virtual Eye is back online, and we can go straight to virtual. And that is the top-down view looking over the lake. We're on the Gersauer, the western side of Lake Lucerne. And as we move down, the boats are heading towards the finish, and I can't tell you how relieved I am, Chris, sitting next to me, and Bridie opposite. Thank you very much, guys, for getting this back up and running. Well done, Virtual Eye. And now just to let Christian know, out on the water, Christian, we have Virtual Eye up and running, and it's a pure joy because we can suddenly see what's going on virtually through our trackers. And Papathanasiou and Chotras leading the charge down towards the finish, with Szabo and Pulver behind them, and Berger and Marazzi, who we just spoke to, on the right-hand side as they look down the lake towards the finish line. So, Christian, we're back with virtual. We now have a bit of an idea of what you're talking about. You must be making your way down towards the finish. They're not too far off the finish line, and a bit of a drag race for second position. I'd say the Greeks have got the lead in the bag, but it's going to be close for second position with those two boats going down there. Over to you, Christian.
Yes, as I said earlier, it gone quite a little bit lighter. The best breeze is where we are now with the leading group, and Papathanasiou is actually nicely in the lead, and Berger and Szabo are actually just on one line. I'm a little bit further to the northern shore, looking at them, and they're quite a bit apart. The seas looks pretty uniform at the moment on both sides. So they're getting closer to the finish line. It's going to be interesting. It's going to get a bit more puff or a bit more pressure. At the moment, it looks like it could be actually nice for Christoph Berger, who's I don't know what the virtual is saying. What's happening there? Actually, the Americans are just putting the pole away. Looks like they're getting ready for a jibe to reposition themselves. Actually, the Greek boat just came almost to a stop, and the best breeze seems to be where Christoph Berger is at the moment. Nansen's actually not jibing. It's just repositioned themselves a bit. So that's come to a total stop. They ran out of wind. At the moment, it looks like the Americans and Christoph Berger catching up a lot. I don't know how that looks on virtual for you. Back to you.
Thanks, Christian. Well, interesting that you say that the breeze is dying, because we're looking at some boat speeds now. A great feature of Virtual Eye. Berger and Marazzi through that jibe have just picked up to 4 knots now. Papathanasiou and Chotras slowed right down, must be going through a jibe as well. Szabo and Pulver on the far side now beginning to move pretty well. So quite a nice, interesting drag race with the top 3. when I said Papathanasiou and Chotras had this in the bag, obviously that's completely doomed them because the other two guys are going much faster. So it's going to be interesting. This is not a done deal at all. 3 boats, fairly spread out. They're going to be having their own little breeze going towards that finish line. But overall, the breeze is dropping and dropping and dropping. So it's going to be quite hard work for the guys further back in the fleet. Some really hard contested racing. So at the moment, we're looking at Szabo and Pulver doing about 2.2, 2.5, 2.5 knots. Papathanasiou doing 0.7 knots. And Berger Marazzi looking like they're charging now towards the finish at over 3 knots. So the local Swedes, perhaps knowing something that some of the other sailors don't know, Berger and Marazzi looking on virtual as if they're taking the lead at the moment towards that finish. Very, very close. They are converging. They are compressing towards that finish line. But right now, Christian out there on the water, I'm loath to call it because I think I've doomed our lovely Greek friends to perhaps not win this one. Very close call, Christian.
Yeah, no, definitely. Right now, it's Marazzi in the lead, and actually the Greeks, who are totally stopped from how it looks now. The breeze actually changed quite a bit in direction, and they all put away their poles, and looks like Christoph Berger and Renato Marazzi, who are basically reaching towards the finish line, and George Szabo probably now in second position. He's standing up around George Szabo, trying to see what's happening. He doesn't quite seem to understand. And the Greek team in the middle of the lake totally stopped. They just got overtaken by this and the Americans. Really worried face here by George Szabo. He got a little bit of pressure now, that the Greek boat in the middle of the lake doesn't have. And the Swiss, who are now closest to the finish line, they got a bit lighter. It looks like a little bit of a gamble into this finish line here.
Well, okay, we're seeing that unravel before our eyes as they go towards that finish. Berger and Marazzi are looking fantastic at the moment, heading towards the finish, and the Greek team of Papathanasiou and Chotras have obviously fallen into a terrible hole. It's quite patchy out there. If we just cut very quickly to our live beauty cam, you can just kind of see it's very overcast. The racers are further down to the right, heading towards away from our camera towards the finish, but there you get a kind of real-time feel of what the weather is doing. Very cloudy, very overcast, and then back to virtual. We can see the winds and boat speeds just dropping slightly, but at the moment Berger and Marazzi, Christoph Berger and Renato Marazzi doing a super job, and these guys from Switzerland, and they've got a lot of local support, and it's looking good for those guys, and they were very keen to do well at this championship. So they're heading towards the finish line of race number 1 of the Star Easterns, and it's a real relief to get Virtual Eye back and running. Quite hard to chat away blind in our little studio. Christian doing a great job out there on the water, but right now Berger and Marazzi hammering towards that finish line. Well, I say hammering. Perhaps that's not quite the right word, Chris. They're heading. And Bridie from Virtual Eye, if we just kind of zoom out a little bit, let's get a bit more of a picture of where the other teams are as they approach the finish. Christian is out there. So, Christian, it's looking like Berger and Marazzi are going to take it, but Szabo and Pulver coming in at quite a nice angle from the other side. Over to you, Christian.
Yes, actually, it's these two boats made the best gains toward the finish line, and the Greek team actually pretty much stopped. They're now reaching. Actually, sometimes it looks they're almost upwind. So the wind actually has changed quite a bit in direction, so they're not anymore on a downwind. The best speed definitely still is the Swiss boat with Christoph Berger and Renato Marazzi. They're sort of reaching towards that finish line, only probably another 100 meters away. They got a nice little puff just now moving forward, where George Szabo actually has come to a bit of a stop again. He's trying to get the boat working. He's lifting up the boom to get his crew from the other side, and they're a little stopped, where Christoph Berger actually has catched a little bit more breeze. They're really getting close now. Actually, the flags on the committee vessel just hardly moving. They're on a open reach towards that finish line. Only 50 meters away from the finish line for Christoph Berger and Renato Marazzi. They're looking like they're going to catch this one. George Szabo closing in probably 30 meters behind him, really slowly moving towards that finish line. And now probably another, just 3 boat lengths for Christoph Berger, closing in, almost sailing upwind to the finish line. Another boat length, and I think they got it. Just wait for the... Yeah, here's the horn of the committee boat. Christoph Berger and Renato Marazzi won this first race here on the Gersauer part of the Lake Lucerne.
Okay, well, super result for the Swiss team of Berger and Marazzi, and now we should be seeing Szabo and Pulfer crossing the line.
Yeah, there's American boat is still moving nicely in. George Szabo looking back. There's a big gap. They got another 4 or 5 boat lengths to go. They will be second here. They're reaching into the finish line, coming slowly closer. Probably got 2-3 knots of breeze here only, but just enough to make the boats moving nicely. Another boat length. And that's the finish. There goes the horn for George Szabo, second position in this first leg. Looking back, we have now the Greek team, Papathanassiou, who's actually been leading around that last top mark. They catched up a bit of breeze now. They're moving nicely now towards the finish line, and they almost could have won this race, but with the big stop and change in breeze, they lost the first position. Now they're just running into a header. They're sheeting on again. They got the bowman is lying on the foredeck. Another 6-7 boat lengths for Papathanassiou to get into the finish line. Pretty tight reach for them. Slowly closing in. They must be a bit disappointed about being so nicely positioned first. Slowly coming in, but they will be third. Breeze actually now even more building out of the east. So it'll be for most of the boats almost a beat getting to the finish line. Greek boat actually had the wind now just before crossing the finish, waiting for them to cross. Another boat length to go. A couple of meters, and here's the horn for third position for the Greek team. Papathanassiou finishing third, while actually the other boats catched up with some breeze. So there's a couple of boats now coming, so it's going to be interesting who will be in the fourth position. We got Diego Negri really close, and the Dutch boat as well. Some of the boats actually tacking now. Diego Negri is tacking, trying to get to the finish line. So their breeze is totally turned. So they're actually sailing upwind now to the finish line. We got the Greek boat. Looks like now in the best position to come in the fourth place. Yeah, and it is the Dutch who finished fourth place for the Dutch team, with the bow number 48, Mark de Haas. And then, as it looks like right now, it's bow number 22, the Swiss boat, with Kurt Scheidecker. He's finishing 5th. And as it looks at the moment, it could be Diego Negri who takes 6th place. He's tacking now for the finish line, closely followed by Hubert Merkelbach from Germany. Diego Negri approaching the finish line. That's Diego Negri, and right afterwards, no, actually it was looked like the German boat got in before, so Hubert Merkelbach winning this duel against Diego Negri. Next boat up is Brazil, bow number 04, Pascolato approaching together with bow number 36, Boris Kulpe. Boris Kulpe's got right away on starboard. So the Brazilians tacking, they are ahead. Brazilians take Dudley over Kulpe, closing in really close together. There's a bit of a gap for the next boats to come up, and they're all now sailing upwind to that finish line with a light breeze out of the east and about 54 knots.
Okay, thanks, Christian. Okay, so that is the top 9 through the line. We can see Lofsted and Clean just jibing round towards the finish. Looks like they're going to be in 10th position. Frida is getting a top 10 result for that one. Pascalato and Burning obviously had a great start and a great first upwind leg and have fallen back over the next few legs. But here's Lofsted and Clean going through. So now, Christian, we are going to let the finishers go through on virtual. We can see on virtual the finish order. I'm going to say cheerio for now, and before we go, just tell us what are your thoughts on a second race out there, Christian?
Oof! At the moment, it looks pretty weird. At the moment, basically, we just had a 180-degree wind shift, and it's clearing up on the other end of the valley. At the moment, all the boats are actually heading towards Brunnen. So, I think it'll be a bit of a wait. We'll have to see what happens in further to the west, where actually the top mark was. There's almost no more breeze, but that easterly breeze has filled in a little bit. But it's pretty light, so I think we'll have to give it a bit of a wait and see what's happening. We still got all of the afternoon, so I think there's a chance for some more racing, but we will have to wait a little bit and see how everything develops. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Christian. Stand down for a moment. So our plan is to, we will leave this virtual running as the rest of the fleet crosses the line. We know that Beat, the race officer, is going to try and get another race in. He lost a day yesterday, day 1 of 4. So he's going to try as hard as he can to get a second race in today. And we will come back with that. I would remind anyone listening to this, perhaps keep your Twitter open at #AskDigby, and any info we have we'll be putting on the website and on the various Facebook pages. Laura Bagel is out there. Laura Bagel is she's Facebooking away, so we'll put her information up on the website, the Star Sailors League website. But for now, that is it for race number 1. A super result for Switzerland. The local heroes, Berger and Marazzi, having a superb result, winning that one over Szabo and Pulfer, the American, with the French crew, who it was rather interesting hearing about their lack of common language. Serge doesn't speak any English, or not much English, and Szabo certainly doesn't speak too much French. So doesn't seem to be holding them back at all. They've obviously clicked and are doing super here. Papathanasio and Chotras. Commiseration slightly to them because they were charging down that final run towards the finish, but I think as soon as I said they've got this one in the bag, they fell into a great hole and dropped to third. And then De Haas and Veldhuizen from Holland in fourth, with the Scheidegers in fifth, father and son I believe. And then the European champ Merkelbach and Bartel in sixth, with Negri and Lambertenghi, the fiery Italians in seventh, and then our brilliant Brazilians Pascalato and Burning in eighth. We will be back with you hopefully for race number 2, but we will leave you with the Virtual finishers and update you on the website, through Facebook, through Twitter, as to when race number 2 will take off. And I'm going to put money. No, I'm not going to put money on it, actually. The wind is so shifty here in the mountains. I can't. You talk to anybody around the boat park, and everyone's giving you a different story about what the wind is going to be doing today. So we'll be back with you in a moment, but for right now, that's it from me, Digby, Chris, Bridie, and Ben in Virtual and Christian on the water. Back in a mo.